Hey everyone, it's Luke from WTP Esports to help us improve our commentating skills, specifically for Splatoon is what we're focusing on today. So whether you're a commentator currently, or maybe this is something that you watch in the future because you want to try it out, here are some tips that I'm going to initially give to you. So the first one is just simply, what is the goal of commentating during a match? Why don't we just simply show the game footage of the teams and watch in silence or just with the game audio? Well, commentators, one, as you can see on the screen, is informative. You're trying to tell the story of what's going on between these two teams. Why does this matchup matter? You're trying to tell them about the players, the insight that you have about them, and you're trying to tell them what's going on in the game in case they don't know about a specific matchup. You know, it could be a viewer that's watching who has never even seen a game of Splatoon before and is just there to root on their friend. So you're trying to explain the game, what's going on, the weapons, all that. Number two is hype. So, you know, if you've ever watched someone else play a game or you've watched a stream where there's no one talking over it, it kind of gets boring after a while. I mean, you can still see high-level play and there could be some excitement. But usually when someone's, you know, all of a sudden you're watching this big-time play and there's someone shouting, whoa, and he's flanking from the left, he's coming in with the bubbles, he's going for the double kill, gets two, gets three, it's the full wipe. You know, if they're excited, they're hyping up, then you get excited as well. So in the right moments, your job is also to get the viewers excited, to bring out that emotion in them as they hear the emotion in you. And then the last one is insight into the game. So as the plays develop, it's great to look back on the plays if you have time to say, oh, here's why I think this team came out on top, or this is the play that they made and here's why it worked so well. And a lot of viewers, especially if they're low-level players or, again, new to the game, it can give them some insight into what's going on. Why is one team winning out over the other one? It gives them some explanation, some sense to this game that's going on that they're watching. So that's goals. That's the tip number one. What I want to talk about number two is, as commentators, you are working with a team, either one other co-commentator or two other co-commentators. And what you want to do is communicate your strengths and weaknesses. Now, typically in a lot of traditional esports, you have what is called a shoutcaster and then a colorcaster. So the shoutcaster is what it sounds like. It's someone that's shouting out, usually the play-by-play action, the one that is just describing what's going on, and they're giving the hype. Then the other person is more of the colorcaster. It gives the color to the game. They're more focused on the information, the insight, the analytical part of the game, and they kind of trade back and forth. So when there's a bigger moment, they know who's going to call the play-by-play and get excited, and then afterwards they know who's going to talk about it and give the analytical point of view. Now, of course, in Splatoon, you only have 5-minute rounds. The games aren't like a stop and go action. There's constant action going on. So it's not this perfectly balanced thing in Splatoon commentating. You just kind of have to feel it out. But typically, as co-commentators, you can tell each other, hey, I feel better about giving the analysis of the game, like giving the in-depth insight to the game. So when there's an opportunity, I want to talk more about that. Or, hey, I'm a play-by-play person. I don't know a ton about the in-depths about competitive Splatoon 2, but I know how to talk about what's going on. So every time there's a play-by-play, I want to try to take that. Now, there's going to be back and forth. Both commentators or three commentators will probably get a chance to do a play-by-play or share some analysis. So it's not going to be direct, just handoff back and forth. But as much as you can, try to communicate, hey, here are my strengths, here are my weaknesses, and this is kind of our go-to plan per se going into these matches as we commentate together. And I would recommend, if you're good at both of those, then just whatever the other person feels more comfortable, give them more of a hand in doing that, because you can do the other side if you're flexible to do both. Now, the danger is, of course, if you're good at both, you might want to talk the entire match and not give your other co-commentators a chance. Please don't do that if you think you're good at both, okay? So let's look at some examples here, though, of some other tips here. We're going to pull up some Splatoon matches from both Tassel Transatlantic Splatoon team and then some of our own VODs even here at Walk the Plank. So one of the other things that I want to talk about and share with you guys is the idea of a kind of a progression of a play-by-play versus analytical. You know, which one should we be doing at what time? So I'm going to use my handy dandy pen here, and we'll see if it works well or not. But imagine the game goes over time here. You know, this is time. If I could spell here with this pen, probably not. This is 0, and this is the 5-minute marker. Oh, wow, that's not a 5. Or if they get KO'd before the 5. So that's the end of the game, right? So if we say the pink is the shoutcasting, the play-by-play, the hype moments, when something happens at minute 0, unless there's a potential Rainmaker KO right away, there isn't much hype. There's going to be back and forth, you know, kills. Maybe if someone goes, pops off, and on camera they're getting a triple kill, yeah, okay, you want to shoutcast that. But most of the time, there's not going to be much hype, so you kind of want to start out slowly by play-by-play, you know, call it out every once in a while. But as the game goes on and gets closer and closer to the end, you want to ramp up, and especially at the end, be doing pretty much all play-by-play, because the match is going to end soon, and you need to bring the hype, you need to talk about it, and then after the match ends, you're going to have time on the analyst desk to, you know, explain what happened in those moments. So don't feel like you have to do the analysis right then and there. On the other hand, you want to start off the game with high analysis, you know, talk about team comps, talk about different players, what you expect, set up the story a little bit more, what do these matches mean for these two teams, and then as it gets, you know, towards the halfway point, or, you know, you're doing less and less analytical, and then at the end, you know, you're doing pretty much none because you're doing the play-by-play. Okay, so not the most beautiful graphics of there, or perfect graph, but you kind of get the idea. So I want to show you guys this on the Transatlantic Splatoon. This is K-Bot and what is his name? Dragonuto, and they are commentating a match between Supernova and Slaughterhouse. So you can check out this if you want to. But here's how they start off the game, and I'll play you a little bit of bit by bit to get you guys the idea.
We're going to the Slaughterhouse pick of Tower Control Mega Mart. They need to win the remainder of these games to take this series back, as we're now on set point for Supernova.
Well, honestly, on Tower Control, I argue that this is going to be Slaughterhouse's better maps. So, I mean...
So just a short example, they explain, hey, this is where Supernova is in this series. If they win, they get the point, they get the win. This is match point. The other person's talking about, hey, this is what I know about Slaughterhouse. I would expect them to win this map because I've seen them perform on this before, or they're really good at Tower Control. Or here are the team comps, this is why I expect them to win. So that's the very beginning of the game. They're doing the very analytical, why can I never say analytical right? And then we got about a minute into the game, and you can hear their commentation here.
Arashi is going to jump out, but the rest of the team is able to clean up. It's a 3-down situation. Arashi pops the armor, but Supernova, this first checkpoint's probably 3 for you.
Yeah, I think, honestly, Arashi jumped up because he wanted to keep the armor, right? That was great awareness from him. Shame he popped the armor when he didn't really need to pop the armor. And he does get...
See, we're only about a minute and a half in the game, so there's not that hype yet of the play-by-play. They're trying to talk through, you know, there's not a lot of action going on. They're trying to explain, hey, why did he jump back to spawn? Why did he pop his ink armor there? You know, how's it going for them? So they're still kind of in that analytical mode, although they've done a little bit of play-by-play here so far. And then if we jump even further into the game, let's see if I can get it close, and then you can see what they are acting like at minute 1, about 1.5 minutes left in the game.
That situation for Slaughterhouse, actually, which means that window of opportunity is going to be open as they start moving this tower towards that second checkpoint once more. Again, they only need 10 more points to go here, but here comes a little bit more of that chip damage coming in from Soldier with that Kent's machine. It's going to go down nonetheless. The 10 missiles coming onto the tower. It's going to clean up for the favor of Slaughterhouse. The Supernova goes 3 down. Well done defensive plays, holding that second checkpoint for Slaughterhouse.
Oh, beautiful talk there from Keen to take out that last member of Supernova, and Slaughterhouse now with another opportunity to extend their lead. That was an incredibly important stop.
All right, so you can see there about a minute and a half in the game, K-Bot really goes off in the play-by-play because there's a really intense moment where Supernova can take the lead. He calls it out all the way until the play's ended. Then that's when the other commentator, Dragonuto, I hope I'm probably butchering their name, sorry. He comes in and starts talking about, hey, this is what Keen picked up at the end of the play. Here's what Slaughterhouse was able to accomplish. So you can see there's a nice passing off where one commentator isn't interrupting the other commentator. They're letting K-Bot do the full play-by-play in that intense moment. And then they pass it on to the other person to say, okay, we have a little bit of space in the game to give some more analysis of what's going on to kind of slow down the pace of our commentation. Then you can see at the very end of the game, it gets real intense, and you can kind of see how they wrap up this game with only 20 seconds left. They know this game is going to end soon, so they're going to switch to more all play-by-play.
20 seconds now left on the clock. They need to start getting picks here. They haven't got any picks. Even though they're pushing that tower forward, they need picks. They need to get more aggressive. That's exactly what they get. They managed to take out Taylor. Look, they managed to take out one more. They're looking at that checkpoint. 10 seconds remain. They need to get on that tower. They need to get on that tower. Power needs to make a move here. That's 2 down on Supernova. It's 1 person, just 1 left. He can take some Taylor. He can take it down. It's by 1 point. Power just managing to touch that.
All right, cool, intense game there, but what I want you to get is they switch to play-by-play. This time, the other person, Dragon Nuto, was doing the play-by-play. K-Bot allowed him to do the play-by-play. What I want you to notice, though, is in this intense moment, K-Bot does enter in some of the conversation, not by giving another play-by-play that takes over, but he just adds in that, whoa, woo, what's going on? It's those kind of short sound bites to add to the intensity, because it's especially one of the closing moments of the game. Both commentators getting hype about it is going to get you more hype about it. So that's the progression of analytical to play-by-play. Remember, analytical more towards the beginning, play-by-play more towards the end. Of course, that's not going to be perfect, because sometimes, games end early and you're not expecting it, so you just got to keep your eye open. And one other tip I want to give you guys is that it is okay if you are being analytical to be cut off, okay? So if you start giving your analysis of the game and then all of a sudden there's this hype moment that's going on that's really important to the match, then you want to switch over to play-by-play. And in this matchup of WTP Esports, Squid and Good gets a pretty quick KO from the Rainmaker, so you can see how Shane wants to start talking about the team comps, and already the match is in threat of a KO, so watch this play out here. Shane, do you think they have the team comp to do it here?
I think, I'm not trying to be biased, but their Nautilus could really help them win it. Just saying.
Well, just as you said that, whole lot of rage just goes down.
A whole lot of rage, just like that. Squid and Good gets to push up.
Oh my goodness, is this game already? Is this game already?
Just like that.
Talk about a win. All right, so Shane did actually a pretty good job there, letting his talk about the Nautilus and stuff go. But you can see if he kept talking about the team comps, gonna need this win near right here. Then you can see, well, there's a wipe. And so if we don't start talking about the wipe and we don't start talking about the push, we might be talking about the team comps and the game might already be over. And then people are like, wait, what just happened? Why weren't you guys talking about the action? So you guys got to be always heads up in a game like Splatoon, especially on Rainmaker or other maps like Splat Zones can easily, you can lock someone out and a game could end within a minute or so. Clamblets, there could be a big push that randomly ends the game. Tower control, you can always have a good idea because, it takes a long push to really get things going. But you got to be aware to switch off that analysis if that's what is, called out for. So the last tip I want to talk about here is not to do 2 play-by-plays, okay? So don't do 2 play-by-plays, all right? So this is the last tip for today. And this is one of our Academy League matches, and this one I just randomly found. I'm not trying to pick on any of our commentators here. We're all learning. We're all trying to grow and get better. So what I want you guys to show you is IPS and Ica doing it well one time, and then the second time not quite so well. And we've all been guilty of this. Me, Stormy, Cassie, whoever else commentated, Shane, Swift. We've all been guilty of this. So this is just an example. Again, I'm not picking on you, Ica or IPS here. So the first time here is that example of where one person's doing the play-by-play and the other person's just adding those little, sound bites of whoa or ah, or, maybe a 2-word statement like, oh, the flank, something like that. So this is a good example here.
This might go down as well. It's going to fall off the map. That's a 4v2 situation. This is a chance for them to push. Solver trying to dodge the heavy. He's going to dodge the heavy.
So I don't know if you could fully hear it there because Ica's mic was a little bit quieter than the game volume in IPS. But as IPS is calling out this action and they're about to score and all this is unfolding, IK kind of gives that, oh no, like it was a little quiet, but if there were more match, you kind of understand the emotion behind it, because IK is adding a little two-word, oh no, just that little statement to help people understand what's going on and how to feel about the match. Then you can kind of skip ahead, and this example, you can tell they start clashing because they're doing, both are trying to cast the play-by-play action. So listen to what that sounds like.
And they've got the pity plan back there, and they've got anything. They can get it all in at once if, and they've got...
They have 40 clams here, I believe, nearly. Half of 3/4's gonna keep going, but Diablo's just waiting there. They're gonna get one clam in, 2 clams in. Maybe the third one if they're able to focus clam, but if not able to. And
lost the fight.
Fire's gonna jump on his own. Half of 3/4.
Yes, the third.
Another clam in.
Yes, the third. Oh, that was...
It's still not being enough to
quite
get
enough.
a lead,
Not
though.
quite enough for lead. They don't have much time either. They've got to get up.
All right, so you can kind of hear what they're saying there, and I just realized I had a filter on my desktop recording that whole time, so all the green color was being cut out. That's why it looks so weird, but you get the idea. This is not a high professional quality video here. I'm just trying to give you guys some tips. But you could hear there, both of them are trying to cast the play. They're trying to give the play-by-play, and it's really hard to understand what either of them is saying because they're talking over the top of each other. And when you're commentating over Discord and you can't see each other face to face, it's really hard to know when someone else is going to talk. You know, if you're in person, you can see someone getting ready to talk and you can say, oh, I can back off. Discord is a lot harder because you have to pay attention just in your headphones. Is someone else talking? Should I be talking? Sometimes you will both start talking at once, and then one of you has to choose, okay, I'm going to let this person talk. Now, funny thing is sometimes you both choose to let the other person talk, and then you get to that awkward, you go ahead. No, you go ahead. So, you know, there's going to be moments like that where they're just messy because commentating over Discord is a lot harder than in person. But just keep in mind, if someone else is starting the play-by-play and you hear them start doing the play-by-play, don't go for the play-by-play as well. Back off, let them have it. Add those little hype, oh, what? Ah, little, you know, sound bites. But then, as the person that's doing the play-by-play, once the play is over, you need to stop. Don't give your own analysis. Pass it back over to the other person. That's that kind of back and forth that we want in commentating, that if you are doing a play-by-play and you get cut off, that sucks. Or you're trying to do both play-by-play, then it's just chaos. But if someone does play-by-play and then tries to do the analysis as well, then it's just one person talking for a full minute or two, and that's not what we want either. So get that back and forth, pass it off to one each other, back off when you need to back off, go for it when you need to go for it, and hopefully through all these tips, we can all improve our commentating at WTP Esports. See you guys in the next video or the next time I see you on Discord. Peace.